Resurgence Ranked on Rebirth has been out for half a season now, and with Call of Duty being broken in terms of not being able to reload while sprinting, which is really irritating and probably the worst bug we've ever had, I thought it's time to take a delve into whether or not Ranked is good on Rebirth. Enjoy. Now, this is the second season in a row that we've had Resurgence Ranked. I was hoping for Big Map Ranked in this season, just for a little bit of a change-up. However, that was not to be. They brought back Rebirth Island, so we have Rebirth Ranked. Now, I didn't actually play Rebirth Ranked at all at the start of this season. I'm only sort of getting into it in the last couple of weeks or so. And for the most part, I'm actually finding it fun. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. I've started in Platinum. I'm now Diamond 2, I think. It's actually less sweaty than pubs. I don't know why this is the case, but I find it easier to play and more enjoyable to play than just generic pub matches. I've been playing a lot of Rebirth Quads, which is a very, very, very sweaty game mode. Then going on to, obviously, Trios and Ranked. The SBMM feels less in Ranked. How is that a thing? How is the SBMM so high in pub matches that a Ranked mode is actually quite nice and easy to play? I'm having fun playing it. I've been able to play it with maybe duos and getting a random fill, and I have also played it with a full team of 3. Both have actually been very, very enjoyable for me, and yeah, actually, I've kind of enjoyed it a little bit more, I think, than Fortune's Keep. Now, Fortune's Keep, when that was brought back, was sort of reimagined. You know, they kind of give us new POIs. They haven't really done anything with Rebirth, and I think this is actually a little bit of a problem for Ranked. So, in pub matches now, there's sort of random events where either the water tower will be exploded or the sniper tower at headquarters will be exploded. However, in Ranked, that doesn't happen. It just stays up. From what I'm aware, I don't think I've played a game where those are crushed. And for the most part, I'd actually like to see those POIs kind of crushed all the time in Ranked, purely because of how dominant they are. It's so annoying when you're trying to either regain or fly back in, and you've got someone top water tower just holding down water tower, but that's for some reason not getting shot at by anybody else, or sat in the tower at headquarters. It's such a dominant POIs. I think I would like to see them go from Ranked. Also, Prison itself kind of needs reworked, I think, for Ranked. It's again, it is such a dominant POI. If you can hold that prison roof down towards the late to end game, sort of like mid-late game to end game, 9 times out of 10, unless the zone really pulls massively far away from prison, you're kind of in a god spot on that map, and there's kind of no way that anyone can really get you off it either. Now, obviously, Ranked is a competitive mode, and trying to regain in a competitive mode should be a little bit more difficult than maybe just a standard pub match. However, trying to regain in Ranked on Rebirth is nigh on impossible, because the lobbies don't really die out, especially as, obviously, up the higher tiers you go. Obviously, the player base and the player count gets a little bit better, and a bit more skilled, you know, maybe play the game a lot more, maybe someone who's just bronze or silver. So as you go up higher up, the lobbies just don't die out. So if you die early game, or like sort of early to sort of like early mid game, and you're trying to regain, man, it is just impossible, because there's just a team at every possible POI going. It's so hard to regain. And once you do get into that Rebirth blender on Ranked, you truly are in the blender. Also, I think because of obviously Rebirth being a bit of a smaller Resurgence map than maybe Fortune's Keep. I think it's maybe, is it smaller than Ashika? It might be even smaller than Ashika Island. The player count is obviously very like sort of condensed and a lot less as well. So I think it kind of is more difficult to sort of hit like sort of those higher SR games as you go up the tiers as well. Now, obviously, Rebirth Island is a very sort of fast-paced map. You know, people try to get clips and high kill games on there and kind of just try to run through the map, running and gunning, not really thinking about movement. I will say that the ranked mode, obviously, you have to think about your movement and your rotations a little bit more. You have to think about who you push, when not to push, when to push, all that kind of stuff. And the slower sort of gameplay actually is quite refreshing for Rebirth Island. Now, as I mentioned before, it feels less sweaty on Ranked than it does actually in pub matches. And I think that is because of how Ranked it is. Obviously, it's a competitive mode. Everyone's trying to earn SR, but obviously, you do need kills to do that. However, positioning on the map is a key thing, and you know, you sort of see teams rotate from positioning rather than just maybe trying to get kills. And I know when I drop in, try and get a loadout, right, okay, maybe get some kills early game. Right, okay, now what? Well, actually, now we're getting maybe zone 3, and we're thinking, right, okay, now trying to think, but can we set up for the end game? You know, all those rotations matter, and that sort of more tactical gameplay, I think, actually is great on Rebirth Island. It's a side of Rebirth Island that we've never had before. You know, we've had Rebirth Island in many different iterations now. And having it as a more tactical sort of game mode is actually quite a nice refreshing change, especially given the fact that Warzone is pretty still at the moment. So is it worth playing? Well, for me personally, I wasn't too bothered about playing it, and now that I have played it, it's kind of all I do want to play. I would definitely not solo queue it. I wouldn't solo queue Fortune's Keep because that thing was an absolute blender at times in terms of how sweaty you would get. I imagine the higher the ranks up you go on Rebirth. For me, I'm Diamond 2 now. I don't think I'd want to try and solo queue it. I imagine I'd be losing 70 SR every time I pretty much drop in. I wouldn't want to solo queue it. However, for the most part, I'm enjoying it, and I think it is actually a working time to play it. As I mentioned, that sort of slower gameplay for Rebirth Island kind of gives it a different feel to what we're used to on that map. Obviously, it's such an iconic map, you know, it's definitely up there with maybe Warzone fan bases, you know, all-time favourite maps. It's definitely on most people's top tier list. For me, it actually is a nice refreshing change. I think Fortune's Keep, I never really liked that map. I still kind of don't like that map. However, I do obviously like Rebirth, and having something new for Rebirth, given the fact that it's been in the game for so long, all bar it, you know, being taken out for Warzone 2, I think it actually is nice. I would actually like to see them try and do ranked on Vondel as well, but maybe after we've actually had ranked on the big map, I would like to see the big map get some love, as mentioned in the video last week. If you have enjoyed this review, then do let me know in the comments below what you like or maybe don't like about Rebirth Ranked. Today was actually supposed to be a Call of Duty Zombies video. I didn't hit record and I sat and played Call of Duty Zombies for 45 minutes. Yeah, Warzone's obviously in the mud as well. We're not being able to sprint and reload and all the bugs that they've added in with the update. Hopefully next week I want to bring back a gameplay of something. I want to kind of get back into playing Call of Duty. I haven't been able to play it a little bit. But if you have enjoyed it, please make a like and I'll see you next time.